to the Dice Tower. I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Zee Garcia.
And today we're going to be reviewing Busy Beaks. This is one of Phil Walker Harding's in his kids line. He has like 3 kids games that came out recently together. They look kind of like boxes of puzzles.
They do. Like the kind of box you pick up at a museum, in a museum gift shop.
Can you imagine doing this as a puzzle?
No.
Like, there's so much white space. Oh my goodness, I wouldn't buy that. But as a game, we'll show you how it plays and tell you how we feel about it. Busy Beaks is a bird-themed card game, and in this game you're trying to make sets of 5 birds so that you can eventually earn these egg tokens over here. The person with the most egg tokens wins. The deck is made of these individual birds. Each bird has its own special power. There are 14 that come in this box, and you only use 7 per game, so it does add a lot of variability there. And on a turn you have your tree with all your branches. These are where you place birds out if you're going to play them. This over here just shows what the different birds are and the powers, and if you're the first person to make a set of this particular type of bird, you get an additional egg token. Now, how a basic turn works is everyone starts with a hand of cards. On their turn, they can choose to optionally play a bird to one of these 3 branches right here. If they do so, then they get to use the ability. For example, this one right here says take a card and the one above it. Here we go. I can take these 2 cards. I now have 5 yellow birds in my hand, or bird garrigars. They're just parakeets to me, right? Parakeets. So anyways, I can play those 5 down on my turn. If I have them, I complete it. I take the largest egg token as well as the bird garrigar egg token right there. And then at the end of my turn, I will go ahead and draw a single card. Just to give you a quick look at some of the things that the birds can do. For example, this one right here is 2 different cards from the tree branches. So just anywhere in the tree branches, 2 different cards. This one here is an attack, where you can look at someone's hand of cards and you choose a card and you put it in your hand, but then they get to draw a card and replace. So it is an attack, but they get to replace that card. This one is straight up draw 3. This is take an entire row up to 4 cards. This is look at 5, keep 2. This one right here is look at 8, but you have to call out a bird first, and then every time that particular type of bird shows up, you get to keep those cards. So if there's 5 that show up out of the 8, cool. If there's none, sorry. Players keep taking turns until all of these eggs are claimed. Once they do that, then you count up all of the eggs that you have, and the person with the most wins. All right, Zee, let's talk about components first.
Okay.
I know they're going for the eco-friendly thing, so they have each individual deck in its own little paper package instead of a plastic insert.
Yeah, it's kind of like a resealable booster pack idea a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're pulling the tab here, like this.
Without ripping it?
Like that. And then you crack that open, and it's the whole flop out of there, and I hate it.
You got it. So you have to build these when you get it, I assume. Actually, Chris put this together, so I don't actually know, but I assume you have to build it.
Probably.
When you come through. I don't mind them, except that I feel like it messes with setup. So
It's a pain. I mean, look, the eco-friendly thing works for me, but this seems to not be facilitating anything. This seems like an extra step.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You might as well just have given me all the cards and give me a cardboard insert in here. I'm good. I can figure that out. They can go into... I can also just go through them. There's like 12 of each. Boom. These birds all match. Next. These all match.
Yeah, because they're separated by color, their picture, all of that. Yeah.
I think this could have been easily solved by having, one card, which you kind of do. You can randomize it, and then, because this is sort of what that's doing, is you can mix these up all facing face down like this, and you build your starting set, and you're like, aha, it's randomized. I don't need this fiddly bit to do that. But this is the only thing I have a problem with, to be fair, as far as components go, because these cards I thought were fantastic.
They're nice. They feel really good. They've got the linen finish to them.
Yeah.
Which, is linen finish eco-friendly?
I don't know.
I don't know
what that's made out of, but I'm going to assume that they know what they're doing, so I don't know. But yeah, it's really good. It's nice linen finish. They have white borders on both sides, which I really appreciate that as well. I thought the cardboard egg token things were fine. They work well. The tree, that's fine. There's not a lot when it comes to the components. Front and center here is the cards, right? So, and the cards are great. Very readable, good look, nice and vibrant. And
I feel like the iconography works once you've read the text, you understand it. It's relatively easy to look at it and figure out what's going on.
And you leave the one out there that shows you the reference to what this means is right on the table. So I really like that. Like, what's this bird do? Boom, I got it.
Now, I do feel like, so they have a recommended, like, first set. They have a couple different sets they recommend playing with as options, but you can completely randomize it. Now, when Chris and I were playing this, we decided to try the opposite of the first set because there's 14 cards, so they have 7 that they're like, these are the best ones together for your first play. We played with all the more complicated ones, and oh my, it got complicated.
Yeah.
Like, this says it's for 8-year-olds, and our 8-year-old was like, can we stop? Like, it was too much for her.
Right.
Which was interesting for it being an 8-year-old game, and I think that this is more 10 plus.
I agree. I think this is, again, it kind of feels, and this is something we talked about, where it feels like a Sushi Go style game, but with the added spatial element, all of the different possible abilities, there's a lot there. A kid, an 8-year-old, I think, is not going to grasp the passive things they're doing.
Like, yeah, because you're not just playing out a card for its ability, you're choosing where it goes.
Yeah.
You're choosing, hey, what are other people collecting? Am I trying to prevent you from getting those things, or am I going to go ahead and let this out because it's going to help me finish one? So sure, you get to finish your set, but I get to finish mine.
Yeah, if a kid puts out a card, I feel like they're not thinking about what they're trailing. Like, I'm going to try, if the bird that grabs 2 stacked on top of one another is in play, I'm going to not put 2 together that are the same kind. And I feel like a kid might not think of those things that are happening while it's not their turn.
I think there's also a bit of like risk mitigation and hand management as you're working through this, because you may have a whole variety of birds. What do I invest in?
Yeah.
What do I give up so that I can get more of something else? And those are more complex decisions, I think.
You get locked down to having 3 of one kind, 3 of another, and you're sort of frozen like that.
Yeah.
You're going to feel like, I can't play any of them. I can't break a set. It's like, no, you need to break a set so you can invest in the other set.
Right. So as a kid's game, I think that this is incorrectly aged, but as just taking it base level as an anybody game, I think that this has a lot of really good decisions and choices in it. I think that it's a smooth setup. I think it's very just clean. Like you said, the iconography is easy to look at. The cards are easy. There's little bits on them about the birds and stuff.
Yeah, so on the backs of these, they tell you where in Australia they're from, because it's all Australian birds. And it's a big philosophy of the company, Joey Games here, being an Australian publisher.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's nice. It's a nice little touch on the back of these. I agree, yeah. I will say, I agree with everything you're saying as far as the interest is definitely there, and the replayability is there because of so many decks of cards. I do find the scoring to be a little bland, I guess.
Okay.
I feel like during the game, like the turn to turn, I'm having a good time. Like, what do I play? How do I collect it? Ooh, that rising tension of being at 4 cards, and you're missing that 5th, and you're going, don't you dare get that 5th set, your full set, because then the last whatever is going. But the scoring is kind of 3 eggs, 4 eggs, 2 eggs. And it just sort of, and because of the way the scoring works, you want to get things early. And this is a common scoring idea, it's fine, but it feels you're not evolving. You're doing nothing different the first round than you're doing the last round,
and if anything, there's just diminishing returns as you're going on.
It's like, my final set I played, I got 2 eggs for. That kind of feels deflating.
It's interesting because that is very much a Phil Walker Harding-ism.
It is.
Of you get more first, but usually he has multiple races in a game.
And by the time you're done, in a game like Barron Park, right, where if you get one of those bear statues late in the game, it's worth way less, but you've built up something. You can look down and go, but look at my part. Yeah. But look at my thing. Look what I made over here. And look, over here, I'm ready to strike again. In this one, there's no that cyclical nature is the only thing in it. Yeah. I'm not at the end suddenly keeping a couple of birds that give me an inherent ability or anything. So, yeah, it feels a little deflating.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. So what do you come down score-wise?
I really do like it. Again, I do think that for kids, I'm not sure if I would recommend this one, but for maybe a non-gaming family, maybe mixed age groups, or if you're just someone who enjoys this idea, this style of drafting, and you like the nature theme, this is really fun. I'm coming in at a 7. I think it's a nice, lovely, enjoyable game. I don't think it's doing anything tremendously innovative necessarily. Okay. And I think if you are someone who's played Sushi Go, maybe you'll play this and go, yeah, I've kind of seen it, or other games of that ilk. But right now, in a bubble, if somebody asked me this or Sushi Go, yeah, I'd recommend this.
Yeah?
I think this has a little more to it.
Nice. I'm going to come in at an 8.5. I was so happily surprised with this because I played the other games in this line and they are much younger age group levels.
Right.
And I was like, okay, these are kid games. This one felt like a real game when I played it. And I was like, I want to play this again. I want to explore it and see really what they can do with these birds.
Yeah.
And I would love to see more. Like, I would love to see, like you said, booster packs come out or something like that.
Exactly. I didn't play the other one, so I'm not doing that comparison in my head also.
Sure,
where I'm like, oh, wow, this is like more grown up. There's something here I wasn't expecting because I didn't play those other two.
Yeah, and I am
surprised.
a huge fan of Sushi Go. That's one of, I mean, it's one of my top games of all time. It's definitely in my top 100. And so this one, I was super happy with it. There you go.
You were surprised.
Those are the words. I was surprised. Yeah, so 8.5 for me.
Okay, nice. That's a seal of excellence there.
It is.
For this one, and it is called
Busy Beaks.
I keep forgetting that name too. Busy Beaks.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Zee Garcia.
Have fun watching the birds in Australia.